Welcome to Brainpower Breakthroughs with LoriAnn and Jon. And we're so happy to have you here today. And to have Jon here today, it is a
Woohoo!
Friday. And yeah, we're glad that you're here. And I love that you're showing yourself, even though you're laying in your bed. This has been great to be able to still do this, even though your energy levels are dropping a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, that they are. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, what today would you like do you want to continue our conversation from yesterday?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So, I know that we talked a little bit about facing death, handling death, other people in your life that might be, you might have experienced this. Oh, and suicide. Those are all things that are hard to talk about, and people have
hmm
a hard time um, talking about it. And you and Amy have been able to conquer this a little bit and just discover it's better to talk about it than to let it be a big elephant in the room.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, we have. I think for us, keeping the communications open and being willing to discuss, that elephant. It has allowed us to really kind of, here's one of the things that Amy brought up. She goes, I personally told her that one of the biggest issues I have is I don't know how to start conversations with her anymore.
Mm,
I thought, we communicate a lot, but we haven't in the last few weeks. And I asked her, I said, how come we don't communicate like we used to? And she goes, I don't know. What do you think it is? And I said, I personally think it's because I don't know how to start a communication. I don't know how to start a conversation with you anymore. And the
mm,
more and more we talked about that, the more and more we realized most all of our conversations were created around dreaming about what we wanted to do moving forward. I mean, we're both entrepreneurs, we're both business owners, we both have ideas, we both have visions. And that was what we focused all of our conversations around. Well, knowing that I'm not going to be here in 6 months makes it really difficult to talk about a vision or a dream that I may have that may take 6 to 8 months to make it come to fruition. So we stopped having those conversations. Well, here's what became really cool about it. She came to me and said, you know what? We need to keep talking about those things because I'm going to do these things, whether you're here in the physical form or whether you're with me in the spiritual form. And she goes, I have full intentions of you being with me in the spiritual form. And if that's how we have to work together, that's how we have to work together. Well, I got to tell you, LoriAnn, that idea brought me to tears.
yeah, it's bringing me to
But,
tears.
but I'm realizing, one of the things, and it's kind of funny. One of the things that a lot of our friends used to say to us when we were in our early years of our relationship, we'd have friends say, "You guys spend too much time finishing each other's sentences." And are you guys like connected somewhere else besides here? Because you guys finish each other's sentences, you finish each other's pathways, you finish, and it's like You know what she's going to say. She knows what you're going to say. And, that's how we've been for all these years that we've been together. And so she said, why stop now?
Yeah.
And so we've realized that just because there's a possibility, or if you want to look at it in their context, a probability that I'm not going to be around 6, 8 months down the road, it doesn't mean that we don't communicate about something that we would want 6, 8 months down the road.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Amy and I started having conversations like we used to. And we realized, it is all about when you have a relationship with someone that is so close to heart, you can have those conversations.
Right.
And ever since then, we do all the time. So it's so neat to realize and to understand you can still have those really, really close conversations and those really, really close ideas.
Hmm.
And so that's what we've started doing. And it's been really nice. It really has.
So I hope people that are listening to this really understand the value of no matter what your belief system is, there's
Mhm.
so much power in still dreaming, still visioning, still. And you guys have had some really cool things happen. Like, I know you're going on a vacation next week, and I know people have
Yeah.
come up with so many ways to support you in fulfilling these dreams that you're actually still talking about.
Yeah.
Um, uh, that to me is just verification that it works. What's going on in your
Hmm.
mind, what you're saying, what you're believing, it's going to
Hmm.
happen. So if
Yeah.
you're just living to die, that's what's going to happen. But if you're living to dream, and
Hmm.
people might say that's so harsh, how could I say those things when you are in the situation you're in? But you're not living to die.
Yeah. There is a difference between continuing to live and living to die. There is. There is such a difference between those two. I mean, and I think I've said this to you guys before. I wake up every morning and knowing that this disease can take me anytime it wants to. I wake up every morning and when I realize, ooh, hey, I'm here. I start my day by saying, thank you, God, for giving me another day.
Yeah,
Let's go have fun and see what we can do with it.
yeah,
So it's not that I'm just laying in bed all day long waiting to die. No. Um, I spend most of my time each day now realizing there's something I can be doing right now. And so, I'll reach out to friends and I'll reach out to clients and say, how can I assist you today?
mm,
What are you working on? And how can I assist you?
wow,
I mean, I'm working, I'm doing my work, and yeah, every now and then I'll have someone reach back out to me and say, oh, I don't want to bother you, Jon. You look tired.
yeah.
Okay. I'll reach right back out to that person and say, excuse me, what's up? Let's talk. Because
Yeah,
I have plenty of energy for you right now.
yeah,
And it's it just changes your outlook on life, living to live or living to die, you know, um, it just does. It changes your outlook on how you want to go through your days.
Yeah.
So,
I know that yesterday we touched a little bit yeah, because of the research that I had done on what teens are looking for and
mhm,
the materials they're looking for. There were so many in there that said, I can't find anything to be successful around divorce, suicide, and death. Those are some of the things they just wanted some clarity around.
mhm,
So we did talk a little bit about suicide, and I know that you have experienced people in your life that that has happened to. I have
mhm,
experienced people in my life that that has happened to, and it's a real tough one to talk about. And
mhm,
I know when I went through it and my friend took his life, the grief level was totally different than the tragic death of my family members.
mhm,
And it's, I couldn't explain it. And I didn't really want to talk about it. So I just went and found somebody that had a horse that I could help go take care of.
mhm,
And I paid this girl for me to come and help take care of her horse
mhm,
because I had been reading and watching videos around horse therapy and how that helps with the healing because these horses are just this magnificent place to give energy and love, and the
yeah,
vibration that is around them is so powerful. So that was how I found a next level of healing. There's all kinds of levels of grief and all kinds of levels of healing. And for
mhm,
me, the thought just kept coming in my head, find a horse, LoriAnn, find a horse, find a horse, find a horse. And so
mhm,
when I did, I would just go, I just walked with the horse. I just brushed the horse. I never rode her horse. All I
mm,
did was just lean against it, walk it,
mhm,
give it some commands. We would play and do some commands with this horse.
mm.
So that
You
was,
took care of it.
yeah, yeah. So I was serving, I guess, this horse, but in the meantime, this horse was serving me.
Right, right.
So
That's cool.
that was how I handled it through that. I
Mhm,
I like I said, suicide it's a tough one.
mhm.
It's a
It
real
is.
tough one. And maybe we could invite some people on. I do know, I know a few people that, um, you know, it's been prominent in their family. And we could even invite them on to share some of their expertise or get some of
Mhm.
their comments that they have and share them. So
Yeah, that would be great.
yeah, we could even take that. I'm like thinking out loud with you.
Mhm. Yep.
So how have you handled that when you've had to advise people or coach people through that?
Um, for me, it's about I'm I haven't dealt. I've had a friend of mine that committed suicide back when we were graduated from high school.
Right.
The night we had graduation, we went to the graduation celebration, went back to his house, had a party at his house. When everybody left, he went upstairs and took his own life.
Hmm.
At that time, I was very, very heavily active in sports, as most of you have learned by now. And one of our coaches had gone through training on how to deal with death and suicide. And so um, we had that to access at that time. which drastically helped me because I had no idea how to deal with it. That was the first time I'd ever had to deal with it. But so we had this coach, and he was really, really good at
Wow.
helping us reframe our thoughts around the suicide. Because a lot of times, I think a lot of times, most of us, we take on, and I don't want to say some of the blame, but possibly sometimes some of the shame. And
And some of the blame. I believe that,
yeah, and so
unknowing to yourself, sometimes you take on some of the blame.
you do. Very true. And so sometimes just having someone to help you understand that part of it and understand that that's not your part.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily your part. And, I don't know. I have thought many times, why do we choose to do that? And in all honesty, the only answer I can come up with is because it's easy to do,
Mm.
you know? Well, here's my response to that. Yeah, it's easy to do. However, it's easy not to as well. Reframe a couple of things around that thought to where you're not taking on that blame. And then it's a much easier cavern to traverse. Um, the one, um, and I talked about it yesterday, I think. A friend of mine created an app.
Oh, yes, that's what I was hoping you'd share that again.
Yeah. So this friend of mine, Jeff, and he's part of a worldwide alliance that I belong to. Um, he created this app called I Relate. And
And it's the letter I, and then,
small letter I,
and then,
capital letter R,
okay.
small letter EL, and the number 8.
Okay. And I'll put that in the show notes, but
Okay.
that's,
All right.
so tell us about this app.
Jeff created this app because of a couple of people in his life. Um, and then he realized that there were so many more that were struggling with it that he didn't know about. And so he put this together to give these people an outlet to share. He realized, the majority of the time, if they just had an outlet to talk about, to talk to, it goes back to what we've always shared, LoriAnn, communication.
Yes.
If we would communicate our feelings, our thoughts, our ideas, oh, life would be so much easier if we would do that.
Yeah.
But in this instance, what Jeff realized is by giving these people an outlet to share their thoughts and to communicate back and forth with others that have been through it, that have been okay. And so he created this app, and you get on, you put your profile together, you sign on, and all it is communicating with others,
Mm.
asking questions. How many times have you ever heard LoriAnn and I say that? Ask questions. That is the best thing anyone can do when they're unsure about going through a rough time in their life. You know, ask questions.
This has even
Lord
taught
knows,
me to ask more questions.
huh?
Even in my daily life,
Yeah.
I noticed today, I asked 7 different questions in the
Mhm.
situation I was in. And it kind of was like this ding, 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 this light went on in my head. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, I am like taking in, what we're talking about every day. And Jon, you have helped me see that so much.
Well, I think that's what's helped all of us.
Yeah.
I think anyone in our line of work will be able to tell you that what has helped us, I mean, we do what we needed. That's kind of how I've always looked at things. You know, I became a business coach when I got out of playing football in the hotel industry. I became a business coach. Well, it's because I wanted to launch a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I searched for what I was needing. And, in doing that, the best thing that I ever did was I joined an organization that was revolved around that. Get my stuff situated here so you can see me again. So I joined an organization that was revolved around business, and I just started asking questions. And I truly believe to my core today that no matter what it is that you're in the middle of, no matter what it is that you're trying to deal with, the best way to resolve it is to find a group and just start asking questions.
Yeah.
I think LoriAnn and I have said that how many times now?
Yeah.
Like 360?
Yeah. Find a safe
you know,
space.
it,
And not just a safe space, but a place that's going to help you grow and learn.
yeah,
And that's how
exactly.
Jon and I met, was in this global network group that we're in. And
Hmm.
and the number one thing they say to you when you get into this group is reach out and start making relationships, developing
Yes.
relationships, 5 strong relationships.
Yeah.
And
Very true.
that goes just with this too, because
Hmm.
even knowing about this app, this gentleman is in this group too. So
Hmm.
you start finding a lot of the answers that you need. There are people around you that have,
Yes.
I mean, a lot of questions that you have. There are people around you that have the answer
Yeah.
when you get
Yeah.
involved in,
Mhm.
these groups and extend yourself a little bit. So, and there
Yeah.
are, I was driving down the street the other day here in my city, and there are grief groups. There are
Mhm.
suicide prevention groups. There's all kinds of groups around dealing with death and if you
Yeah.
don't want to leave your house, I know that there are groups online,
Oh,
and
yeah.
just be careful because people prey on people who are grieving,
Hmm.
and they start, sad but true. Um, you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
But like we said, ask questions, be in a group that you trust, and find those few people around you that you can talk to.
Yeah. I'll even go this route. If you are in a position where you need to find a group to go to and you find one, but you really don't know anything about them, send me their link. I'll find out about them. I got connections all over the place. I can find out things.
Right.
And if I find out that this is a great group for you, I'll let you know. I'll even help you get introduced. I'll help you get involved with it. I'll help you write your first 5 questions. Whatever it takes to get you involved with the group to give you the help you need. That's what we're here for. Okay. But if I find out that this isn't a very good group, I'll tell you that too. and I'll let them know what they need to do with their group to straighten it out. Because I'm just ornery enough to do that. So, but anyway, yeah,
Diligent. You're
no,
not, I don't ever think that you're honoring, you're diligent.
there you go. Yeah. I look for the best of everything.
Yeah,
And so yeah, if you want to, reach out to me and ask me about a certain organization, by all means do so. I don't have a problem with it
I love that.
because I've done enough of my own. So, that's not a big deal to me. I've always looked for answers. I mean, that's what we do in life. We look for answers. We always want to find the best answer. So I'll help you find it. Just reach out. We'll
Um,
be good.
and there is a powerful exercise that you can do right before you go to bed. If you have a question about something and you go to bed with that question in your mind,
Hmm.
one of my coaches taught me this, and she said, either write it down on a piece of paper or just really think about it before you go to bed. When you wake up
Hmm.
in the morning, the answer usually comes because it's
Hmm.
usually in our quiet time, or sometimes we're awakened in our sleep, or, what. And this morning, I was driving in the car with my husband to the gym, and the answer to the question that I went to bed with, that I didn't even realize that I really wanted to know, the answer just came into my head.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
relieved anxiety, it relieved tension, it relieved,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe some envy, some jealousy. We're human, these things happen to us,
Hmm.
and it just flipped the scenario for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
My coach always said to write it down. So that's what I've always done.
write down the question. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always written my question out at the
Mhm.
end of the day and stuck it on my nightstand.
Yeah.
But very true to what you said, though, LoriAnn. I wake up the next day and I either had the answer or within a couple of hours, the answer came to me,
Exactly.
you know? So yeah, definitely. You know, the power of intention.
Yes.
If you have the intention to learn about something, then you'll learn about it. If you have the intention to get through a tough time in your life, then you're going to get through it.
And if you want to get through it with hope, joy, and love and confidence,
Hmm.
and with grace and ease, you can do that.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. Very much so. Very
Okay,
cool. What else
well,
you got on this?
Jon, I think we have given our audience today some great things to think about.
I
You've
agree.
been
Yeah.
very open, very vulnerable today. We've talked about hard things and very personable things that you're going through. And the bottom line is really asking those questions, surrounding yourself with good people. You can look into the app. You also can, Jon said that he will help find a group for you.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
he
Reach out
really
to me
is
by my
serious
email.
about
It's in the
this.
show notes.
Yeah, yeah, he's serious about this. And our in the description of this podcast, our emails are there.
Hmm.
So every single day we can live to live,
Yes.
even if there are bad things happening to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Because it makes living to live makes those bad things a little easier to live with.
right.
And how cool would it be if all of your bad things were much easier to live with?
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I personally kind of like that thought.
I do too. It's a it's a good one to end with today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So
Well, we so enjoy having you with us on our episodes. So I got to do my good stuff. So don't forget, hit the subscribe button down there below. Hit that little bell thing so you know when we have a new episode out there, and share this with your friends and your family, because you never know when your family may have a friend that's going through something like this.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we appreciate you being on board with us. Um, you know, tell your friends to subscribe to us. If you have questions, we've always said, put them in the comments. Or like LoriAnn just said, go to the show notes, get our email addresses, and send us an email with your question. We'll be more than happy to answer it for you. We may answer it like this, doing a show about it.
Right.
Which we love doing that part anyway, so it doesn't matter to us. We're here to help. That's what counts. So we appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for your time. We hope that if there's anything out there that we can help you with, that you will reach out and let us know. Until then, we'll see you next time on
Brainpower Breakthrough.
Breakthroughs. Absolutely.
Bye,
Love y'all.
everybody. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.